99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, home of Braves country with Mac Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks, weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Key and YouTube.com at Braves Country.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hey folks, this is Mark White with The Mark White Show, and you can tune into The Mark White Show every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. right here on Rock 99, WQEE The Key, the home of Southern sports and talk.
Are you looking for a reliable dental practice that not only cares about your teeth, but is friendly to work with? How about one that offers great deals and new patient promotions? Well, your search is over. Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton, Georgia is committed to giving you the biggest and brightest smile. Right now, get a $99 new patient special, including x-rays and exam. Maybe you're looking for veneers. Most Valuable Smiles veneer special includes one free veneer with every 5 purchased. Or get that bright white smile you've always wanted by taking advantage of an exclusive $100 off Zoom whitening treatment when you book today. And don't forget that 2022 is almost over. That means most insurance policies will reset by the new year, and to avoid losing that extra money, you need to use it or lose it. Book an appointment today with Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton to lock in these exclusive deals. Call 706-623-0318 or visit mostvaluablesmiles.com.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style in dining rooms or al fresco on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
It all starts with just one thing. When recycling, rinse out jars and cans, and avoid recycling wax paper or paper soiled with food. This will reduce recycling contamination. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
Hey sports fans, The Key has a brand new show. Braves Country is coming your way weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. Drive time on WQEE. Braves Country is a Southern sports talk show with Mac Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. We'll be talking the Atlanta Braves and Major League Baseball, along with everything important to sports fans in Braves Country. The SEC, ACC, Big Ten, and the National Football League, and the big sports news of the day. That's Braves Country with Mac Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. Weekdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. right here on WQEE The Key, 99.1 FM, and simulcasting on youtube.com/at Braves Country.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
good night,
there's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
That's the sound of NyQuil Severe hard at work. NyQuil Severe is the best sleep with a cold medicine. No tossing and turning, just rest and recovery. So you're ready to take on tomorrow. For powerful relief of your worst cold and flu symptoms, try NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, best sleep with a cold medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey Braves fans, thank you for listening to Braves Country Baseball. Hi, I'm Mac Magee, and we are here to bring you play-by-play, pitch-by-pitch of your Atlanta Braves, and bringing you spring training and 2 to 3 games a week all season long. Please like and subscribe today. Braves Country Baseball.
Winter is the perfect time to start planning for your healthy, pest-free spring lawn with True Green, America's #1 lawn care company. True Green's science-based approach and local expertise will help give your lawn the year-round care it needs to be thick and weed-free. Go to truegreen.com. Just call 866-946-5956 or go to truegreen.com today and get a lawn to be proud of.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rod Peterson here, host of The Rod Peterson Show, inviting you to join us daily for 2 hours of Atlanta's funnest sports talk right here on WQEE. I say fun because it is. You've never heard a show like it because we make the listeners a part of the show every day between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern. You'll hear plenty of the best sports talk, including the latest on the Falcons, the Braves, and more. And who knows, you might even hear you. That's the Rod Peterson Show, daily at noon, right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neill, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Fridays, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Noonan, Georgia, home of Braves Country with Mac Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks, weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern, right here on The Key and YouTube.com at Braves Country.
Armchair. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good afternoon, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Your Atlanta Braves have the day off, but still quite a few games going in Major League Baseball. Got some day games that we'll keep you updated as the show rolls along. Phillies are at the Mets. Padres are at the Marlins. Blue Jays host the Brewers, and Rockies and Diamondbacks. All of those are daytime tilts. Tonight, 7:10. The Reds are in Boston to battle the Red Sox. Hunter Green 1-4 on the year, 4.18 ERA versus Chris Sale 5-2 with the 4.72. Should be strikeouts galore. Boston minus 165 on the money line. Over under is 9.5. Guardians are at the Twins. Bibby 1-1 with the 2.88. Pablo Lopez 3-3 with the 4.11. Minnesota minus 140 on the money line. The over/under is 8. Angels are at the Astros. That game is 8:10 Eastern. It can be seen on FS1. Detmers 0-4 with a 4.93 takes on Framber Valdez 5-4 with a 2.38. AL West battle. Astros just a couple of games in front of LA. Houston is minus 178 on the money line. Over under is 8.5. And the NBA Finals begin tonight, 8:30 Eastern, ABC or the Plus. You can watch Game 1. Heat are in Denver to take on the Nuggets. Denver Nuggets are minus 410 on the money line to win this game. Tonight, they're a 9-point favorite. Over-under is 219. Games 1 and 2 are in Denver tonight and Sunday night. Game 3 will shift to Miami along with Game 4. Those games will be played next week, Wednesday and Friday night. The NHL Finals taking their hiatus. That series will not begin until Saturday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern. That'll be seen on TNT. You'll have the Panthers at the Golden Knights. Women's college softball World Series begins today. Alabama and Tennessee played the early game. We'll keep you updated on that score. Number 4 versus number 5 seed. Following that, you'll get Stanford and Oklahoma, the 1 versus the 9. Oklahoma comes in with an incredible 56-1 record on the season. Tonight, 7 o'clock on ESPN, Oklahoma State versus Florida State. Though Florida State is the number 3 ranked team, the Lady Seminoles considered the underdog as it is a road game, Oklahoma State playing in their own backyard. In the 9:30 tilt, number 7 Washington Huskies versus the number 15 Lady Utes. This is a double elimination tournament. Matchups will be set as the results come in. Men's college baseball playoffs start tomorrow in the regionals. Games get going at noon Eastern. Games of interest tomorrow, number 12 Kentucky on the SEC Network playing Ball State at noon. Number 4 Clemson, 1 o'clock on the Plus versus Lipscomb. NC State's at Campbell, 1 Eastern on the ACC Network. Duke hosts UNC Wilmington, 1 Eastern on the Plus. Other games around the Southeast, Arkansas, number 3 in the country versus Santa Clara, 3 o'clock on the Plus. Number 5 LSU on ESPNU versus Tulane. Gators and FAMU, 5:30 Eastern on the Plus. FAMU head coach said that their number 1 starter will be unavailable for tomorrow night's game. And at 6 o'clock Eastern, Charlotte versus Tennessee. That game can be seen on ESPNU or the Plus. Number 1 Wake Forest, 7 o'clock Eastern versus George Mason on the Plus. The Plus will also have number 9 Miami at 7. Number 13 Auburn versus Penn at 7. 15 South Carolina at 7 as well, along with Alabama 16th in the country. And North Carolina, all those games taking place at 7 Eastern. And 8 o'clock on the SEC Network, number 6 Vanderbilt versus Eastern Illinois. And the rest of the field will start their series on Saturday. The regionals bend around from Friday to Monday, double elimination round robin. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for Braves Country right here on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Newnan, Georgia, simulcasting on youtube.com at Braves Country.
Armchair.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
Why did you get so drunk?
You got drunk. I'm just really exhausted.
What's in that cup?
Almond Cokes.
Do you have any idea how important this is? Try to save the pump call. Really, this is what you're doing?
Chief, what do you want to do tonight?
Same thing we do every night. Try to take over the world.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Armchair.
YouTube Live.
Radio station. The radio station you can call your own. Do you know what listeners like about our station?
I like everything. It's always on my radio.
We never stop the music, except for now, when I talk.
Listening to Braves Country with Mac Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. We're here live weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern, WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, and simulcasting on youtube.com/@Braves Country. Your first choice for Southern sports. Good afternoon. I'm Mac Magee, and I don't know much, but I know one thing. Man, the Philadelphia Phillies can't do anything right. Just need you to beat the Mets one time in this series. God bless, they stink.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man with a cool one in his head. Yeah, the armchair.
Hey, howdy, hi, and how the hell are you? I'm doing pretty good. I just realized this afternoon that the Mets are going to have to face off against the Blue Jays this weekend. So that's pretty good because we're going to head to Arizona. Going to get into that series here in a second. I know a lot of fans who don't necessarily pay attention to the Arizona Diamondbacks are thinking that this is your older brother's, Arizona Diamondbacks. It's not. It's a good baseball team. It's a very good baseball team. And I think that we would be fortunate to win this series on the road in Arizona. We have 3 good pitching matchups. Well, 2. I still look at Mike Soroka and what he's going to give us as a wild card. You really don't know. But the way it's lined up, it's actually pretty good, but they're lined up pretty well as in their own right. Before we get into that series, real quick, I did want to hit on, we're hitting June 1st. Major League Baseball, where do we stand? Who are the teams that you need to be aware of? Who are the teams, not as good as advertised, right? And so the first team is the Tampa Bay Rays over in the American League East. Now, we won't spend a whole lot of time talking about the American League East and the Tampa Bay Rays except on Wednesdays when the Sarge is here. But that team is for real. I mean, 40-18. They got Glasnow back. That's a good baseball team. That's a damn good baseball team. And when they went 13-0, I think the actual thought process from a lot of fans was that this was a flash in the pan. They would crash back down to earth, et cetera, et cetera. And okay, I kind of see that thought process because no one really knows the Tampa Bay Rays roster unless you follow them every day. I follow them pretty regularly. That's a darn good baseball team. And I keep hearing these analytics. These guys keep coming at you and saying that the Rays bullpen is basically flawed, and I don't see it. I've watched them play, watched them pitch. It's a damn good baseball team. And I think they'll make a couple of minor moves at the deadline. But honestly, their biggest thing is if they can keep their guys healthy and get Rasmussen back and get Glasnow on the right track. McClanahan's already on the track for the Cy Young at this point. He would have my vote at this stage of the season. I know he didn't win this week, but my God, I mean, he's been darn near flawless. So all in all, I like what I see on the front of Tampa Bay and what they're doing in the American League East, along with Baltimore. Baltimore is for real. Now, they're coming a little bit down to earth. They're 5-5. Look, when you get in the dog days of summer, the June, July, and August, right, which is where we're just starting to begin, there are going to be weeks where you're going to be thrilled to look up at your last 10 and see 5-5. Depends on who you play. Baltimore right now, if the playoffs began right now, they would be in. And you can't ask anything more from Baltimore than that. Yankees are starting to piddle around, and they're starting to move up. Red Sox are starting to come back to earth. They're 3-7 in their last 10. That's more the Red Sox baseball that we kind of expected. We'll talk more about them next Wednesday with Sarge. But all in all, when you look at this team, Boston's going to be the one that I think is going to fade down the stretch. They really didn't do anything in the offseason. The one that surprises the most is Toronto. I mean, this is a team that has underperformed. Other than when they cleaned our clocks, they really haven't played very good baseball. And they're going to be on the road this weekend in New York. So I don't know how well they'll play on the road, but hopefully they'll give the Mets all that they can handle. It was funny to listen to the Mets broadcasters. Man, they were talking smack. They were talking about how their offense is not much more than about average, and their pitching isn't much more than about average. And I'm sitting here thinking, what the hell are the Mets? That's about the same thing that the Mets are. Actually, the Mets offense is below average. And the Mets pitching is about average. Now, the Mets have played good baseball of late, but they're going to go through slumps. You know they are. Again, that offense is anemic. For whatever reason, they own the Philadelphia Phillies. You can just almost bet every single time when the Mets and Phillies play, they're at least going to win 2 or 3, and they may sweep them. I don't know what it is, but they've got a hold on them. It's just like the Braves have a hold over the New York Mets. The Mets, when they face the Braves, they wilt like a flower. Same thing when the Phillies meet the Mets. Now, when the Braves play the Phillies, Braves normally get the better of them, but the Phillies play pretty good baseball against the Braves. For whatever reason, it's almost like they're intimidated by the Mets, and it's almost like the Mets are intimidated by the Braves. It's really, really strange. But we're heading to Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks. We'll get into that here in 1 second. I just want to hit the rest of Major League Baseball real quick. In the Central, AL Central, you got the Twins leading the Tigers by 2 games, the Guardians by 3.5, and the White Sox and Royals, they're out of it. I don't care what anybody says. White Sox are 12 games under 500. They're not going to fix that. The White Sox, everyone looks at, oh, there's such a talented roster. No, they're not. No, they're not. They really don't have that talented of a roster. They have a roster that at one point had a lot of top prospects, but they never panned out. I was looking at even Tim Anderson, who everyone considers their best players, looking at his numbers, he's terrible this year. He's absolutely terrible. They have no one that you can lean on in that entire White Sox offense that you could say, oh, if he gets hot. No, it's nothing there. The only cool story about the entire White Sox is Liam Hendricks coming back from chemotherapy, and you want to pull for him. You want to see him do well. But if you're thinking picking him up in fantasy, honestly, it's probably a huge gamble, because how many wins are they going to get a week, right? All right, and in the West, I think this one shocks me more than anything, is how I look. I actually picked the Rangers, but I didn't think they'd get off to a good start. They are 35-20. That's an impressive baseball team right now. 35-20. They've won 7 of their last 10. They have a 3-game lead over Houston, a 6-game lead over the Angels. And the Mariners are flailing around 6.5 back. They better get it together. Mariners have a good baseball team, but they better get it together, because the Angels I think are playing above their head right now. And if they have an opportunity, they're going to go out there and try to make a move. If the Angels have an opportunity, they're going to try to make a move, because they want to show Shohei Ohtani that they're for real and give him a reason to want to come back. If the Angels can find their way into the American League playoffs, it helps their case to re-sign Shohei Ohtani immensely. The kid wants to win. He wants his money, and you're going to have to pay him, but he's well worth his money. Because when you pay Shohei Ohtani as high as he's going to get paid, we'll say 60, you're also going to be able to save money in a couple of positions and pay league minimum, because he's going to play designated hitter, and he's going to be one of your top starters. And when it's all said and done, assuming health stays, and he's beating the odds, because I really thought that I did not think he could stay healthy. He has stayed healthy. But assuming he beats the odds and continues to beat and to stay healthy, he's worth every dime someone pays him. I mean, I could make the argument Shohei Ohtani is worth 75. Probably wouldn't get it, but I think he's worth it. He's that valuable to have. But it would kind of be nerve-wracking to have all that money tied up into one person. All right. NL Central. Brewers lead the Pirates by a game. They lead the Reds by 3. Look at the Reds back end. They've won 7 of their last 10. Cardinals by 5. Cubs by 5. I still think the Cardinals have the most talented roster, and you would think they're going to finally get it together. The Cubs, I believe, played a little over their head at the beginning of the season, and they're starting to fall back to earth. But they're still a fun, exciting team. They could catch fire. I think the NL Central is going to be wide open the whole year. I do kind of suspect a couple of these teams are going to fall off, and in the end, it's going to be St. Louis. It's going to be Milwaukee, and there's going to be one other team. Will be the Cubs. Will be the Pirates. Will be even the Reds. There's going to be one other team. I see them going 3 wide into September. And then you get the NL West. And right now, the Dodgers only have a half-game lead over Arizona. That's impressive. Arizona's won 7 of the last 10. They've won 4 in a row. I think that's good for Atlanta going in. You don't want to be facing a team on a losing streak like we do with the A's, because they're scrappy and they looking for that W. And the team you need to keep an eye on, because they've played much better baseball over the last 20 games than they did the first 40. San Francisco Giants. San Francisco Giants are 28-28. They're 5.5 out. I don't think they can win the West, but they can get the wild card. As far as the Braves going into this weekend, you look at the pitching matchups real quick before we have to hit the break. You look at the pitching matchups going into this weekend as we have a 4-game lead. Well, it's probably going to be less than that because I think Philadelphia is going to spit the bit here. But you've got a lineup or a pitching matchup on Friday that's intriguing to me. It's Morton versus Kelly. Kelly's a darn good pitcher, and we're going to have a hard time manufacturing runs against Kelly. We'll get more into this tomorrow, but then Saturday, the late 10-10 game, Strider versus Nelson. We have the upper hand in that one. But then Sunday, they've definitely got the upper hand. They've got Zach Gallen going up against Mike Soroka. Much as we like Soroka, much as we believe in Soroka, he's still working his way back. Zach Gallen's one of the best right-handers in baseball. So tomorrow night's game may be the most important game of all of them because it might decide who wins the series. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Doug, Steven, coming in. We're going to talk a little NASCAR. We're going to talk a little betting. We're going to talk something we're starting today. Going to have some fun with this summer. The all-time fantasy football draft. If you could draft anyone that's ever played the game, and we'll explain the rules in a second. We'll be back in a flash here on Braves Country today. 99.1 FM WQEE and Braves Country HD on YouTube.
Are you okay, pal?
I had a rough day on the job.
Are you going home now?
I was about to.
Well then, you just fulfilled the first rule of law enforcement. Make sure when your shift is over, you go home alive.
It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neill, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Fridays, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
Make contact. A collective psychosis is sweeping the nation. We're in the thick of the haze craze, and Elysian is introducing an altered state of IPA. Contact Haze is a tangled chemistry of mild haze, low bitterness, and an explosion of hop aroma. This hazy IPA bursts with notes of bright raspberry, currant, citrus, guava, and passion fruit. Available in 6-pack cans in stores. Make contact.
If we actually enjoyed our New Year's resolutions, we'd all have 6-packs, money in our saving accounts, and we'd know how to play the piano. I have to tell you about the one resolution I actually enjoy. It's Built Bar. It's delicious. Oh, yeah, it's healthy, too. They're low-cal, low-sugar, high-protein, high-fiber, great for the keto diet. Lose or maintain weight while indulging. Visit BuiltBar.com.
Braves Country, weekdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, 99.1 FM The Key, your first choice for Southern sports talk.
Hey, folks, this is Mark White with The Mark White Show, and you can tune into The Mark White Show every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. right here on Rock 99 WQEE The Key, the home of Southern sports and talk.
You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM The Key, home of Braves Country. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern, right here on The Key and YouTube.com at Braves Country.
This is crazy. You want me to hit you?
That's right.
What, like in the face?
Surprise me.
This is so stupid.
Oh, you hit me in the ear.
Well, Jesus, I'm sorry.
Ow! Christ. Why the ear, man?
Welcome back. Braves Country today. And joining us today is Mr. Doug and Steven. Red Raider Doug, how are you today, sir?
I am doing fantastic. There's nothing coming in a week after sweeping the Cubs, and we're about to sweep the Red Sox too.
And Texas T, you are heading to the Stanley Cup final. Is it game 3?
Yep, Game 3 on Thursday night.
So it's next Thursday night?
Yes.
That's pretty cool. You and Hooker by Crook are going down there?
Yes, sir.
How far of a drive is that to the
From here it's about 4.5 hours.
So are y'all staying down there, or what's the game plan?
Oh no, so we're actually supposed to be in Central Florida that night. So we got 72 holes of golf between Friday and Saturday. So we're driving down there, seeing the game, leaving straight from the game, driving 2 hours north back to Orlando. Then we're just playing some golf and getting drunk all weekend.
Oh, okay. Is it somebody getting married or something?
No, I've got a group of friends. Like, we've been doing this. We do it once every year. I think we do it about 10 years now.
Okay. This isn't the trip that's normally in North Carolina, is it?
No, this is separate.
Okay. Separate group of friends. All right. Well, good luck to y'all. I think that series is probably going to go at least 6, if not 7. These are two teams that weren't realistically expected to be there. So it should be good. I don't know if the NBA Finals is going to go the same. Kind of feel like that Denver's on a mission.
Same here.
But the only thing that has my interest in that NBA Finals, I know it's going to get terrible ratings, and I get that. But I kind of forgot about the fact that when they played in the regular season, and Jokic pushed, I can't remember who he pushed, but he pushed someone from behind. You can't call it a sucker punch because he didn't punch anybody. What's that?
It's one of either Marcus or Markieff Morris.
Yeah, and he gave him a hard shove, and then they were sitting outside the locker room, and so there's all that drama, and I'm just wondering if any of that's going to spill over. Especially, what if Denver gets up 3-0? That game 4, is it going to be like a good old fashioned knife fight in the middle of the floor, right, or something, right? So, I think everyone will keep their cool in games 1 and 2 and even 3. But as you get later in the series, if you feel like you've lost the series one way or the other, does someone go for a cheap shot or what have you?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm much more hopeful about the Panthers' chances than the Heat. I'll say that.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Panthers are just playing out of their mind right now, out of their freaking mind. It's just been. Yeah. And I mean, not taking anything away from Vegas. Vegas has played really good hockey as well, but
the run they're on is just it's historic.
What's funny is the two front offices, NBA and NHL front office. They're just cringing of going, oh my God, where the ratings are going to be. I mean, we could have picked worse matchups. Denver, Colorado, and Las Vegas, Nevada versus the city of Miami.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, that's, and the thing is, if you're a Miami sports fan, you're going to have to kind of pick which series you're going to be locked into, because your average fan who has any kind of a family, any kind of a job, they can't lock in to every single night watching both the NBA and the NHL finals, right? You kind of have to pick and choose. And they usually get bailed out by the fact that normally, well, what they're hoping for is as far as the hockey side of it, you're hoping for a couple of, original sixes to be in there. And from the NBA side of it, you're hoping that it's going to be like the Lakers or something like that there. But not this year, buddy.
I mean, I will say that executives have got to be happy to see Vegas in the Stanley Cup Finals, just to show that the city can support a franchise team.
Yeah, but as far as putting eyeballs on the TV, it's going to be brutal. It's going to be absolutely brutal. Because
we'll see.
You don't have. I mean. And I get it, in NHL Finals, nobody watches it anyways, per se, but it's going to be worse than normal because you're going to have – I mean, the only way this could have been worse, thankfully they're not in the same conference, but what if you had Tampa Bay versus Florida? Then you're like, oh, you know what I mean? Where it's one section of the country where that's it. But the NBA, I don't know if they could pick much worse. I mean, at least they do have Miami. Miami has been in the finals. It's been quite a while since they've been in a real finals, but the problem is the star power is not there for the Heat, right? I mean, you got Jimmy Butler. Your average fan doesn't get like, I don't know, is Jimmy Butler, and that you ask them to name another player, they go Spoelstra, and that's where the list is going to end. But I hope both series are good. I hope neither one of them turns into a sweep, because then you're really going to get bad ratings.
Oh, for sure.
To me, it's an interesting story. Whoever wins the NBA one, Jimmy Butler finally getting himself a ring, or Denver and Jokic getting themselves a ring. Those are cool stories, but I think you have to be a diehard fan to really care. All right, let's move on from that. What is your DFS today, sir?
So we got 3 games going on tonight. We got Houston hosting the Angels. We got Minnesota facing off against Cleveland, and then we have Boston hosting Cincinnati. First off, starting with the pitching, we have Pablo Lopez and Tanner Bibby both sitting around under $8,000. I'm going to be having at least one of those in every one of my lineups tonight. I also love in lineups that I don't take Lopez, getting a little bit of Cleveland. The Cleveland bats, they exploded yesterday. I think they can stay hot. Another team I'm looking to target stack-wise is the Cincinnati Reds. They're nearly every category offensively, they are top 10 against left-handed pitching. And while Sale has been good, he's still getting his feet under him. There are going to be a lot of eyes on Sale tonight from a DFS standpoint. So that means just those Reds bats, if they come through, they go off. Not many people are going to have them, and that's going to help your chance to get to the top of that leaderboard. Other team I'm really targeting are the Houston Astros. They're facing against Reed Detmers in Houston. I just don't think that Detmers has enough to get it done tonight.
All right. If there was one team I would stack, it would be the Angels. Houston going to a bullpen game. And
it's Framber Valdez starting tonight.
Is it not Blanco?
What else? Everything I've seen is Framber.
No, it's Blanco.
That must have changed then.
I think you're right. I think it was originally Framber Valdez, but it looks like Blanco, which would be a bullpen game.
Oh no, yeah. If that's the case, give me all of the Angels.
Because I would be a little hesitant with the Reds. I've watched the last 2 starts of Chris Sale. He's been pretty good. I kind of like the under in that game. It makes me a little nervous at being in Boston because it is a hitter's park. But Hunter Green's pitch much better than what his numbers show.
Yeah.
And that under is 9.5. I like the under in the Cleveland Twins game too. Those are 2 just bad offenses.
Yeah, no, I love the pitching in that game.
All right, well, we'll move on from that. Doug, talked about it briefly in the last sec. The Reds, man. What the hell, dude? There's just a few games out of first place. What are they, 3 out going into today?
Yeah, they're 3 out going in today. I mean, that's what happens when you finally find an offense. I mean, especially the last few days, Spencer Steer, who I think has convinced me to put his ticket in for NL Rookie of the Year nomination. I mean, he's actually first, second, and I think third in one other category among all rookies. Only Corbin Carroll is maybe doing a little bit better than he is, and he's just been quietly playing all season, getting better every week. And he and McLean have been carrying us through these games. Matt McLean last week had a phenomenal week. He was before Monday. He was batting .434.
And while we were talking, it's a final. Blue Jays beat the Brewers, so a chance to gain another game.
Yep.
That would be a cool story. The Reds trying to stick it to the man, mainly their front office.
Yeah. I mean, it's not their whole front office. I feel sorry for with David Bell and with Horner. It's the owners of this team. Let's just say, just for the sake of argument, let's say this Reds team becomes a great team between 24, 25. These knuckleheads, all they're going to do is when it comes time to have to pay these guys, they're just going to sell them off to other teams. I mean, these owners are like the worst owners in baseball. And what's slowly happening with the Reds, it's kind of a joke, is we're like the farm league for the rest of the MLB.
Their end game is not to try to move, right? Because Cincinnati is a good market.
Yeah.
But so what is their end game, to just make as much money as they can?
You got to remember, these owners, as I call them, the Flying Cellini brothers, they have no business being owners in the first place. These guys are nothing more than glorified hot dog salesmen. And how they got the right to buy this team in the first place, I'll never understand it.
Pistons hire Monty Williams as head coach, by the way. That's breaking news. 6 years, $72 million. Why in the hell would you give any coach in the NBA that much money when you know you're going to fire him within 2 years? No NBA coach lasts very long. That's insane. And it's not like Detroit is on the verge, right?
Right.
Bad organizations make bad decisions.
Yep.
That is a head scratcher. I saw the 6-year deal and I had to move my head because the rest was blocked. It was $72 million to coach an NBA team for maybe 18 months. Yeah. Anyways, we're going to do the NFL fantasy all-time fantasy draft in the next segment. So let's knock out some NASCAR. Man, I was so excited to watch the damn race Sunday night. And then they come in and they cancel it. And then it comes on like in the middle of the afternoon on Monday. I had no shot of watching. I was very disappointed. So what went down in the Coca-Cola 600? Because I didn't see a single lap of it.
I mean, I didn't catch much, but I mean, one thing that came out of that race is Chase Elliott is going to be suspended for this race coming up. He got into him and Hamlin got into it coming out of turn 4 early in the race, and he ended up just straight up taking out Hamlin, and NASCAR wasn't having any of it. I mean, on a plus side, we did Ryan Blaney got his first win, so it's I'm sure he's glad to get that monkey off his back. It's been over 100 races now.
Yeah,
since Blaney's last win.
Yeah, and the ironic thing is the last time his dad ever won a race was this race back in 2006. So, and and it wasn't a by accident win too. I mean, Blaney had a dominant car. Him and William Byron were up front almost all day long too. So it wasn't a fluke. They had the right car on the right day. And as far as Chase Elliott is concerned, that's got to be one of the dumbest things I think I've ever seen. There was no reason for it. It was just blatantly stupid. I don't know why one driver wants to cause himself that many problems like that. There was no reason for him to do that. He just lost his temper, so he's going to.
They have some kind of a history.
Not that I'm aware of, unless Steven knows something.
No, like the history I know with Denny Hamlin's with Ross Chastain, but
yeah,
I mean, then again, who doesn't have history with him? But yeah, I mean, he really shot himself in the foot there. I mean, it's almost like it could cost him a spot in the playoffs. So that's another race he's going to miss and not be able to rack up points.
I mean, he has not won a race yet, right?
No. And speaking of Chastain, he actually went through a race without wrecking somebody. So an improvement, or however you feel about Chastain. Yeah, he was Mr. Irrelevant all day long yesterday. So no after hours fisticuffs for him.
The one video that I'm looking at right now that they're showing is someone pointing out that Hamlin had leaned into him and then he was retaliating, which may be true, but y'all are saying that he should have just left it alone.
Yeah, he came off came off of turn 3, I think.
4.
Yeah, he just caught air across the thing, so he had to lean down because he's about to hit the wall. So all he did was come down like 2 inches just to clear that wall, and he just rubbed up against Elliott, and Elliott took it personally. That's all it is. You just dumb kid play. There was no reason for that. I mean, he didn't hit him hard. He barely touched him. You know, to me, when I see stuff like that, it's like, grow up. Somebody's going to hit your car every once in a while. Get over it and move on.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised that it wasn't even more of a suspension, because, man, you're really opening up some danger right there. If you get these guys intentionally hitting each other going that fast, I mean, we could be talking about a much sadder note in the future.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy that Elliott, who grew up in a racing family, would go that route. That's why I wondered if there was something prior to the two of them getting into it the other day, if they had some kind of, beef, so to speak.
Right. No, I thought I was surprised by it. That's why I'm like, how dumb it is. Because I said, because he comes from a lineage of clear-headed drivers. So yeah, that's rare to see with him.
I kept waiting to see if there's a Chase Elliott fan that would be defending him, but I'm scrolling through the big bird in the sky, and I don't see anybody. I'm seeing some pretty funny pictures. I'll share those off air. Oh my God. There's one of someone has superimposed Elliot riding a female's toy is the best way I can put it.
Okay.
That's the cleanest way I can put it. I wasn't expecting that. I see race video. Wow, what am I looking at here? All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to where are they at this week?
They're up in Wisconsin. They're doing that
Gateway
race, which is pretty much a new race. I think the inaugural one was last year. Joey Logano won it. So
give me a winner, Doug.
I'm taking Truex.
Steven.
I love the potential of Truex, but I'm gonna go Blaney back to back. He's really strong at this track type.
I'll take Logano again. I know who won't win it. It won't be Chase Elliott, right? All right, let's take a real quick break. When we come back, first time we've ever done this, tried this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. All-time NFL fantasy football draft. If they've played football, you can draft them. We'll be back in a flash to explain everything.
Try to stop smoking. That's a beauty, huh? Well, with cigarettes, my wife and I, we made a deal, my wife and I. We only smoke after 6. I got the same pack now since 1975. What bothers me is my wife. She's up to 3 packs a day.
We're down to 1 strike here. It's 0-2. Gurriel, the last hope for the Houston Astros. And here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on, bounced over to Dansby. Dansby fires it over to first. And here comes the dog pile. Fire the cannons in the battery. Do the chop, baby! All throughout Braves country, pop that top! Your Atlanta Braves have won it all!
Armchair.
You'll do anything to stay healthy. So isn't it time to think about your water? Aquasana water filters remove contaminants other filters don't, like lead, bacteria, viruses, and pesticides. Up to 99% of 88 contaminants, while leaving vital minerals you need like potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Visit waterfilter.com now for pure, delicious water and the ultimate peace of mind. Aquasana. Better water, better you.
It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neill, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
Your true friends are the people in your life that totally get your inside jokes, your unique style, most important, what you want to eat. Taco Bell knows that when you get together with your real friends, it doesn't matter what you're doing, but hey, it might as well be something that everybody can get into, like the Taco and Burrito Cravings Pack with 4 crunchy tacos and 4 beefy 5-layer burritos. So even if you're all sitting around doing absolutely nothing, you know you'll still have a good time. It's Taco Bell's Taco and Burrito Cravings Pack. Get it for the friends that get it.
You're listening to WQEE, the Key in Noonan, Georgia. home of Braves country, weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Key and YouTube.com at Braves country.
Hey, this is not a test. This is rock and roll. Time to rock it from the Delta to the DMZ. Hey, is it a little too early for being that loud? Hey, too late. It's 0600. What's the O stand for? Oh, my God, it's early. Hey, you know what I mean. Too much?
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks.
My God. I mentioned it in the beginning of the show. I didn't know how bad it was. Told you how I felt like that the Braves owned the Mets, but the Mets owned the Phillies. When the Braves and Phillies play, it always seems like, I don't know, it depends on who's hot. I didn't know how bad it was, so the Mets just won. I don't have the score in front of me that's right there on the board. Let me see what the final was. Let me see here. Oops. The Mets won 4-2. Padres beat the Marlins 10-1, and Blue Jays beat the Brewers. And these are the games that are still going on and coming on tonight. The last 21 games that the Mets and Phillies have played. Doug, how many games do you think the Mets have beaten the Phillies last 21? I have no idea.
I guess I would just throw out 10.
Steven.
17.
Ding, 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 ding.
Really?
17-4. 17-4 against your rival.
Yeah, that's just
that's awful. Oops. That is awful. I mean, and you can't put it on the coach. At some point, the players got to. They obviously have a talented team. They made it to the World Series last year. Anyways, we move on, but Mets win, so they'll gain a game. They'll gain a half game on the Braves. No, Steven, I was adjusting the camera slots because I was trying something different there.
Got it.
So, anyways, let's get into. I guess I should have put something together for this, but I haven't done that yet. So what we're going to do over the next few weeks is we're going to do an all-time fantasy football draft. And what that means is exactly what it sounds like. If they've ever played the game of football, you can draft them. Now, obviously, there's not going to be a lot of value in drafting a quarterback in the 1960s compared to, but you can draft them, and we're going to take their top 2 seasons. Their top 2 seasons that they played, not the top 30 games, but the top 2 seasons that they played in. And we'll set them up. And what we're going to do is we're going to randomly draw once a week for the week we're going to pick and the year you're going to pick. So one of them is going to be assigned year A, one's going to be assigned year B, whatever. Or I guess maybe what we could do to just make it easy, we're going to assign a week, and whichever week is higher, we'll just go with that. It's going to be a best ball, and you're going to draft 2 quarterbacks. You're going to draft 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex positions, but not super flex. It's 2 flex positions. It's 2 quarterback league, but 2 flexes.
Oh, it's not super flex?
It's not super flex. It's 2 quarterback league. So 2 quarterbacks, but 2 traditional flexes. And 1 tight end. We're not doing defenses. We're not doing kickers. And we're just going to randomly do it. And when we randomly do it, we'll come up with a point value system that we will put together. We'll probably try to draw it Wednesday or Thursday, or probably Thursday, and then kind of come up with the points by Friday, which Steven's going to help me with. And then we'll figure out the points and all that kind of stuff. So should be a lot of fun. I figure we're gonna start this off with just 1 pick today. We might accelerate it next week, but it's going to be difficult because we're not all together at the same time. So I figure we can get through the draft somewhere within the end of June, maybe July. And then the plan is to have all this out of our way by the time the real fantasy football season sets out.
Okay.
So there might be some of this stuff going on where I'm texting y'all to find out who you want to pick so we can accelerate it at some point, and then we'll just let everybody know. But every time you're on the next few weeks, there's going to be a pick. That you can guarantee. All right. So without further ado, there's no other way to do this other than total randomness, because Doug, I'm going to give Doug and Steven the first 2 picks. Joey, who's on next, is going to get the 3rd pick. Tomorrow, it's going to be Tones and Bobby getting the next 2 picks after that, and then I'm just going to take the last pick, and then we'll go from there. Okay? So, without further ado, I don't think you can see my hand. No, you can't see my hands. All right. I've got a green pen in one hand. I've got a yellow pen in the other hand. It's the easiest way to do this. Thought about flipping a coin. I was like, first of all, I don't know if I carry coins anymore. Second of all, I flip a coin, I might knock the whole damn thing off. We might end up getting a situation going on here. So, Douglas, let me flip it real quick because I just realized that I lifted my hand while I was talking. All right, Douglas.
Yes.
All you're going to tell me is right or left. The green pen is going to be the guy that goes first. Okay. So, right or left hand?
Left.
You got the yellow, so that means, Steven, you have the first pick ever in the all-time fantasy football. In fact, I'm going to get rid of that because I kind of like the idea of being able to see more players on this thing. I tried to put one together real quick, and then I realized right before I went on, I was like, they put a damn kicker on on this thing. So, Steven, I'm probably going to change where your picture is here in a second because I didn't realize that at first. But yeah, I'm going to put a kicker right there. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. Now we can see at least a little more of something there. I think that's Reggie Bush up in the top. Is that who that is? And then we got Mahomes. It's probably Falk and Henry. Le'Veon Bell. I can't figure out who that is at the very bottom of that picture on the left.
I can barely see it.
Yeah, that's Steven Jackson on the right, actually, in that picture.
Oh, that's Jackson? Okay, well, actually, that makes a lot of sense. I think that's Reggie Bush up top. I know the guy we can't see is Randy Moss. It's the original reason why I grabbed the picture, and then I ended up blocking him with our. There you go.
Nice job.
So there you go. So, Steven, where are you going on the first ever? There we go. On the first ever fantasy football all-time draft.
Man, that's a lot of pressure here.
A lot of pressure, man. Don't choke.
I originally thought we were doing Superflex. And I had that all planned out. Like my pick was ready to go, but I don't need a quarterback this early. So I'm just gonna have to settle at this point for.
Oh, you poor bastard! You got the first pick overall, and you can't figure out who you want. And you
I know exactly who I want.
Right, you don't even have to worry about injuries because we're going to pick the best two years.
Yep. So I mean, like this pick may shock you guys a little bit, but give me Priest Holmes of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Priest Holmes.
His 2002, 2003 seasons are both in the top 5 of highest scoring fantasy seasons of all time. So
I actually thought that may be who that was at the bottom of that picture because I think it might be a Chiefs, but I can't remember how Priest.
Jamal Charles, that's who it is.
Who is it?
Jamal Charles.
Okay. So you're going to go with Priest Holmes. And what 2 seasons are you going with?
2002, 2003.
Okay. And we're doing a plus minus on this. And what that means is we draw like week 5. You're going to get the best score of between 4, 5, and 6 the week you're in, the week above you, and the week below you. And the reason why we're doing that, A, could have been injuries back then, and B, you also could have ran into a bye week. So I didn't want to make it totally unfair. All right, so you're going to go Priest Holmes, and you're going to leave. So I'm writing out. And so for folks who are wondering, how we're going to do this, what is that? 2, 4, 6, 7. Where did I have 9 at? Oh, flex. So what we have is we have a 9-man roster and it's a 3-man bench. Now you don't have to worry about injuries and buys, so it can be a little more aggressive one way or the other. So Priest Holmes, Stephen Troche. I thought you might go with some kind of a Miami Dolphin pick or something, but
I'm a fan. I'm not stupid.
I thought those go hand in hand. Being a fan is being stupid sometimes, isn't it?
Sometimes.
All right, Mr. Douglas, where are you going? First pick ever for you, second pick ever overall in the fantasy all-time draft.
I'm going to go ahead and take a quarterback, and I'm taking Peyton Manning in his 2004 and 2013 seasons.
Which seasons?
2004 and 2013.
2004. Oh, man, he's watching. Oh, he is watching. I was like,
what?
Joey's going next, and he's a Colts fan. He goes, "Come on, Doug!" I thought you might go with the Raider. I couldn't think of what Raider you might go with, but I thought you might go with the Raider. But I can't think of. I mean, he's got a lot of other guys to pick from.
Adrian James is there,
and I did not put him up to it. I just assumed that it was going to go. Actually, I don't know who I thought Steven was going to pick. I kind of figured he was going to pick the best running back available, but I figured it was going to go running back. Doug, I thought was going to grab some random Raider of old, and then Peyton Manning. So that'll be interesting because we're going to do the same thing tomorrow with Tones and with Bobby. We'll do the pen thing again, I guess, and Tones is going with some Tampa Bay guy.
Yeah,
I can't think of a Tampa Bay guy I would want in fantasy football to pick 2 seasons. Because if you go Tom Brady, those aren't his 2 best seasons. I mean, I guess you could go with the seasons when he was a Patriot.
Yeah, I would do that. But I can't think of. Yeah, there's no 2.
I can't think of anyone fantasy football wise.
Not in the first round. Not first round, but the only 2 I can think of for this draft would be either Mike Evans, just because of how consistent he's been, and then Warwick Dunn. But even still, that's
flex / bench guy, right?
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see where he goes. He's going to have some deep dive. Some guy that only ever wore the creamsicle jersey. I don't have a clue where I'm going because I was kind of curious to see where everybody else goes. I was like, why even make a list? You're picking last. Like by the time you get down there, I kind of figured Priest Holmes was going to go off the board. Wasn't sure if Steven was going to grab him, but I know that Bobby goes in front of me, and I expected Steven and Bobby to be the ones that draft the best running backs. I didn't know where Doug was going to go, but I kind of expected the other 2 were going to pick their favorite players to start it off. Oh, Freddie Peralta finally didn't spit the bit. He lost, but
was it 3-1?
Terribly. He has been so incredibly inconsistent.
It's been a lot of guys since the rule changes this year.
He's got a perm this year too. I think it's got something to do with it. Sack up and get rid of the perm, and you'll get your fastball back. It's one thing if you are naturally. I think that's a perm. Do they still get perms?
Good thing.
I don't know, but it's
You remember those back in the day, man? The perm? I know Doug remembers. Yeah. I don't know if Steven remembers them.
No, I do.
I remember.
And then the next day, like 4 girls would come in. They all have perms.
Yep.
And they weren't the best looking haircuts.
I was glad to see them go.
Cat Williams had the best one, though. Hands down.
Cat Williams had a perm?
Oh, yeah. Way back in the, like when he was first coming up.
I always saw him with the, with the long hair. I mean, straight hair.
So, like from what I know, like perms are just like if you have straight hair, it makes it curly. If you have curly hair, it makes it straight.
Oh, I don't know. Well, maybe. The term perm in the 80s and 90s always referred to the curl. Because there was also the Jerry curl, but that was different because you had to put all kinds of product in it to keep it that way. But the perm, there were I want to say even my mom got a perm. I mean, they were popular. I never understood it. That and I don't know what they were called, but remember that fan that was at top of their head? There was like helicopter. I always call it the peacock, but I don't think that's what it was called. But it would look like a peacock at the top of their head. For some reason, all the hot girls had those, like in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So you could be ugly, you could get one of those, and then all of a sudden we think you're hot because of all the other hot girls had them. Doug, what is your walk-off?
Oh, my walk-off is with the Raiders. How boneheaded could you be to sign a quarterback like Garoppolo and not have a suspicion that foot is practically crippled? And are they really going to let the NFL vote to let Tom Brady play as an owner?
Nah, I don't think Brady wants to play.
I didn't think so either. I just wondered if this whole thing is just a stunt, just to get him to play one more season for people to play to get tickets, because God knows a Vegas ticket is over $600. So that's the way to get people to actually buy a ticket to that game is to get Tom Brady to play one last season and see him play as an owner.
Steven, what's your walk-off?
Would be.
I bet everything over on Hunter Green and get him all like in all your DFS lineups.
You gonna be here next week or no?
Yep. I'll be in the car, but I'll be on the show.
Okay, cool. All right, brother. We'll see y'all next week, and we'll see how Doug can screw over Joey next week. We'll be back in a flash. You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Noonan, Georgia.
Armchair. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good afternoon, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Your Atlanta Braves have the day off, but still quite a few games going in Major League Baseball. Got some day games. We'll keep you updated as the show rolls along. Phillies are at the Mets. Padres are at the Marlins. Blue Jays host the Brewers. And Rockies and Diamondbacks, all of those are daytime tilts. Tonight, 7:10. The Reds are in Boston to battle the Red Sox. Hunter Green 1-4 on the year, 4.18 ERA versus Chris Sale 5-2 with the 4.72. Should be strikeouts galore. Boston minus 165 on the money line. Over under is 9.5. Guardians are at the Twins. Bibby 1-1 with the 2.88. Pablo Lopez 3-3 with the 4.11. Minnesota minus 140 on the money line. The over-under is 8. Angels are at the Astros. That game is 8:10 Eastern. It can be seen on FS1. Detmers 0-4 with a 4.93 takes on Framber Valdez 5-4 with a 2.38. AL West battle. Astros just a couple of games in front of LA. Houston is minus 178 on the money line. Over under is 8.5. And the NBA Finals begin tonight. 8:30 Eastern, ABC or the Plus. You can watch Game 1. Heat are in Denver to take on the Nuggets. Denver Nuggets are minus 410 on the money line to win the series. Tonight, they're a 9-point favorite. Over under is 219. Games 1 and 2 are in Denver tonight and Sunday night. Game 3 will shift to Miami along with Game 4. Those games will be played next week, Wednesday and Friday night. The NHL Finals taking their hiatus. That series will not begin until Saturday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern. That'll be seen on TNT. You'll have the Panthers at the Golden Knights. Women's college softball World Series begins today. Alabama and Tennessee played the early game. We'll keep you updated on that score. Number 4 versus number 5 seed. Following that, you'll get Stanford and Oklahoma, the 1 versus the 9. Oklahoma comes in with an incredible 56-1 record on the season. Tonight, 7 o'clock on ESPN, Oklahoma State versus Florida State. Though Florida State is the number 3 ranked team, the Lady Seminoles considered the underdog as it is a road game, Oklahoma State playing in their own backyard. In the 9:30 tilt, number 7 Washington Huskies versus the number 15 Lady Utes. This is a double elimination tournament. Matchups will be set as the results come in. Men's college baseball playoffs start tomorrow in the regionals. Games get going at noon Eastern. Games of interest tomorrow, number 12 Kentucky on the SEC Network playing Ball State at noon. Number 4 Clemson, 1 o'clock on the Plus versus Lipscomb. NC State's at Campbell, 1 Eastern on the ACC Network. Duke hosts UNC Wilmington, 1 Eastern on the Plus. Other games around the Southeast, Arkansas, number 3 in the country versus Santa Clara, 3 o'clock on the Plus. Number 5 LSU on ESPNU versus Tulane. Gators and FAMU, 5:30 Eastern on the Plus. FAMU head coach said that their number 1 starter will be unavailable for tomorrow night's game. And at 6 o'clock Eastern, Charlotte versus Tennessee. That game can be seen on ESPNU or the Plus. Number 1 Wake Forest, 7 o'clock Eastern versus George Mason on the Plus. The Plus will also have number 9 Miami at 7. Number 13 Auburn versus Penn at 7. 15 South Carolina at 7 as well, along with Alabama 16th in the country. And North Carolina, all those games taking place at 7 Eastern. And 8 o'clock on the SEC Network, number 6 Vanderbilt versus Eastern Illinois. And the rest of the field will start their series on Saturday. The regionals bend around from Friday to Monday, double elimination round robin. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for Braves Country right here on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Newnan, Georgia, simulcasting on youtube.com at Braves Country.
It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neill, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Fridays, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
It's time to live, laugh, and create memories again with MSC Cruises. Join us on some of the world's most modern and innovative ships. Discover again at our new private island, Ocean Key MSC Marine Reserve, named Best New Cruise Destination. Cruise the Caribbean and Bahamas from Miami or Port Canaveral. Book now with free balcony upgrades and flexible booking changes. Call your travel advisor or visit msccruises.com. Restrictions apply. MSC Cruises, a world of discovery.
Braves Country today. We're talking Southern sports. We go live 3 to 5 weekdays right here on WQEE. Braves Country today, Southern sports talk with the voice of Braves Country baseball, Mac Magee. Joined every day from sports analysts from all over Braves Country, talking college football, the NFL, Major League Baseball, and what's trending in the world of sports. Braves Country today. We go live 3 to 5 weekdays right here on WQEE.
40 games at $50 a piece? That's like $2,000
per seat.
Per seat? How many seats did you buy?
One, and the one next to it.
That's $4,000.
Unless they get in the playoffs, because for some reason playoff tickets are more money than regular seats. They'll never make it. What am I talking about? They're a lousy team this year.
You spent $4,000 on a lousy team?
Well, let me explain something to you about basketball. You cannot get season tickets like this with a good team. You got to ride out the bad years, hoping for a good one.
That's what you said 17 years ago when I married you, and I'm still waiting for a good one.
Welcome back. Doug screwed you. How you doing, Joey?
I was doing all right until Doug came on the show today. Listen, Doug, you have a target on your back. I will be coming for you all summer going into football season, and I will not forget this day. June 1st, 2023 will live in infamy in my life thanks to you.
You know, we get this all the time in regular fantasy football drafts. We're like, oh, this guy screwed me over. He took my guy. I didn't expect that in this one. But right out the gate, as soon as he said Peyton Manning, man, I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go. Shots fired.
It's funny because not even, like, obviously you knew because, you know, my team's the Colts and Peyton Manning's my GOAT forever. But it's like, I even asked the last couple of days in questions, if I choose Peyton, what do I get here? I thought I was setting up to get my favorite player ever, and I got to back up, but it hurt badly.
Yeah, I didn't put him up to it. It didn't even dawn on me that someone would draft. I figured Priest Holmes was going to go 1 or 2, maybe even 4 or 5. I knew Priest Holmes was going to go in the first round. And the only reason why I thought Peyton Manning was going to go in the first round because you're in the draft. Other than that, I don't think anyone drafts Peyton Manning. But he did have that 1 year. What year was it that he threw the 50 touchdowns or whatever it was?
Yeah, in 2013 with Denver, he had 55, and then Doug chose 04 where he had 49 touchdowns. So he did get 2 solid years.
Okay. Yeah, that's a wild one right there, man. That's I just didn't expect it. I was like, Doug being a Raiders fan, it wasn't even on my radar. I mean, I thought he might go Raiders, but then he's a big fantasy football guy, so I figured he might go with what you would normally do in a fantasy football draft, which would be go running back, right?
I thought he would even go back in time, take it to his childhood. No, he took
yeah.
it
Well, I thought there might be a running back that he might go with because you're actually kind of safe going with running backs the further back you go because it was a running game. You know, I'm thinking like a Jim Brown or something like that, right? And he pulls off the Peyton Manning, and I was like, oh my God. Only way that could get better is if you screw your brother over and grab. We were talking about it last. I'm guessing he's gonna go like a Tom Brady, but don't you have to go with one of his Patriot seasons if you go Brady?
Oh, easily. I mean, you'd have to go with the Randy Moss here. That goes right off the top of my head when he did really good. I mean, he did good that first year in Tampa, but yeah, if he goes with Brady, he's going to have to at least choose one Patriot.
Yeah, 08, 07 or 08, whatever year it was that they almost went undefeated. I want to say that was 07, but I can't remember. It's either 07 or 08. I get them confused because then the Super Bowl shows up. You don't know if that was January of 08 or how that worked out.
It was 07, 2007
okay.
season.
So it was 07, 08. Okay. That's what I thought it was. It's funny. So the Mets Phillies game, Scherzer got into it with an umpire in between innings because he got upset that he wasn't allowed to continue warming up. Because once the timer hits, you have to be done with your warm-ups, right? And Scherzer raised Kane, and they got into it. They ended up squashing it, and he went back to work, and the Mets won. But what's funny is the time that it took for them to argue that out, Scherzer could have thrown 2 or 3 more practice pitches. I don't understand why as long as he's ready to roll when the inning begins, what does it matter when he stops his warm-up tosses? I don't get that one at all, but
Makes no
anyways. All right, so first pick, we'll go ahead and jump off the jump with this one.
Ooh.
First pick. No, you know what? Before we get into that, NBA Finals.
All right.
Do you care?
Oh, you know me. I definitely do. I'm an NBA guy. I got my Sixers Allen Iverson shirt on for today, even though he has nothing to do with this. It's just an NBA shirt. But I'm liking the Nuggets. I'm rooting for him. My roommate kills me with all his Jimmy Butler talk. So it's going to be a fun one to keep after. And I think the Nuggets will complete it in 6.
Yeah, I think the Nuggets are going to kill him. That's why I'm just not that interested in it. The only team that had a chance to slow down the Nuggets is Boston, for talent wise.
Yeah.
I do think Spoelstra's a better coach, but I think it's going to be kind of a snore.
Well, yeah, because when you look, I mean, Denver.
Are you more likely to pay attention to the NBA Finals or the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Oh, definitely the NBA Finals, just because I always have liked basketball more than hockey. But even hockey would have been a really good series. They got both viewership parties are probably like, ooh, this did not help the NBA or NHL. Right?
No, man. The winner here is Major League Baseball.
Easy.
And maybe even the winner may be, you got the Women's College Softball World Series starting today. You've got the Men's College Baseball starting tomorrow. They might be winners in this as well, because folks that normally spend their time watching the finals may go, let me give this a try.
Yeah, because I'll tell you right now, a lot of people, you got, obviously one of the best ever in Jokic at his position versus Butler. It's like, if you ask the average fan, though, where these guys are from, they'll just look at you crazy. They'll know a LeBron James, even if it's Boston Celtics, don't know the players. You know Boston, that's one of the top franchises in history of all time, obviously. So they didn't get exactly what they want. And to your point, MLB regular season, you got all the college stuff happening. This is the time for one of those. I won't give the USFL any chance, so that has 0 chance. But the rest of them should.
Yeah, that's a hard pass. Is that still going on?
I think so, but don't quote me.
That's like that annoying kid at the party. You're like, are you still here? You're still here? We haven't overserved you and gotten you to pass out yet.
That's me.
I don't even know what week they're in.
Oh, I mean, like I said, after about week 3 of the XFL, I just scrapped all these. Because you know what? They always are like, if you're a football fan, you want more football. Here's the problem. You mean yourself, for example. We're big sports fans of many things. When it's the offseason of football, we're happy to.
They're in week 8 of the USFL. I did not. I thought week 3 or 4.
So did I. I did not know that's how much we're paying attention. But for us, we don't want to really watch football in the football offseason. We want to watch all our other sports. So to me,
no, it's like I said before when they first started leading up to this. If you wanted to get me to watch, and I'm much more likely to watch the USFL than the XFL, because USFL at least has a brand. If you wanted to get me to watch the USFL, you needed to start this in July and end it right before football season starts.
Mm-hmm.
Or middle of June, even beginning of June. When you have a situation like this, where the NBA Finals and the NHL Finals are kind of crap, if the season was just starting, I'd probably have much more chance of me checking it out.
This is just random off the top of my head, but screw it, I'm going to say it. What if you had the championship of the USFL on the Hall of Fame game? Nobody watches the Hall of Fame game or preseason. Instead of the Hall of Fame game and being 2 NFL teams, you put the USFL championship, and people might actually watch and stream across it. The Hall of Fame game, you don't even get any starters at all. How about you throw in the USFL championship in Canton, Ohio? Maybe you'll draw some fans.
Yeah, well, I don't think you could do that because I don't think they would allow them to be on the same field. But what you could possibly do is put your championship just before that. So probably not the night of, because I think they played that on Thursdays now. They used to play it on Sundays.
Yeah, which was good.
So maybe you do it on the Monday night or Sunday before the Hall of Fame game. Okay, maybe by then I've got some football going in my blood. And there's also a better chance that some of these guys, if they played at that point, could go and sign with someone, right? But you got to do two main things if you want me to watch this stuff. A, change when you play, and B, you got to be kind of a player. You got to get some guys on your team that I've heard of.
I don't even care if it's Johnny Manziel, just a name so I could watch a name out there. Like, that was the first time that came to my head who's a bum. But my point is, I don't even care if they're guys who are joke bums. Just put them out there. I don't even care if they're over the hill. Just get names out there.
I'm looking at the records right now. It doesn't even look like they have an elite team in this yet. You've got Houston 4-3, Pittsburgh's 2-5. You got a 4-3. There's 1-5-2, which is Birmingham, which makes sense because I think they play all their games at home. They do play in the Hall of Fame stadium.
Oh,
there is a game this Sunday, and it is Memphis versus New Jersey in Canton, Ohio. 2 games.
Wow, I didn't even know they played there.
Sunday. Hall of Fame Stadium. Both of the noon kickoffs this weekend are in Canton, Ohio.
Wow, my brain finally triggered something good.
The 2 games that are late afternoons are both being played in Birmingham. But that once again is a problem.
I don't like that. Play in the state.
Third thing, these guys need to be playing at home. They need to have games. Put them in areas where people are going to go out and watch them. I don't care who they are. And let's go.
Why would a team from Seattle, for example, want to watch why would somebody go to the game if their stadium's in Alabama? I don't care about the Seattle team if I'm in Alabama, or I don't care about the Memphis team if I'm in Ohio. Put it in the state they're from.
Are they really the Philadelphia Stars if they're always playing in Birmingham or Canton, Ohio?
Might as well be the Alabama, Canton, Ohio Stars.
And why are they playing in Canton, Ohio, and there's not an Ohio-based named team?
Makes 0 sense.
I know they played last week they played in Memphis. And there's a Memphis team. But that makes no sense. Why is there an Ohio 2 games this weekend in Ohio? And Ohio doesn't have a team.
They're not doing themselves any favors, that's for sure.
No, but I mean, I said from the jump, because back when they were doing this years ago, there were different cities that didn't have teams. Okay, but you get decent-sized cities that do not have a professional football team, but maybe it's kind of close, right? Maybe they have a decent college stadium that you can play in.
Yeah, like in Nebraska.
Knoxville, Tennessee. Can you put a team there?
Nebraska.
What about Athens? I don't know if they would let them use their stadiums. These may be bad examples, but big college cities, those to me would seem like would be perfect for this.
Even Iowa. I mean, come on. There's plenty where you could do this.
I feel like you could use the college stadiums. You could work out a deal.
Oh yeah.
They're not realistically using it. So what? So what would the problem be? You do it in the middle of the summer when all the kids are gone. Come on, work with me.
Do better.
You can put one in South Bend.
Ooh.
They haven't played football there in years.
Your dog's already on my bad list today. Don't make
No, but seriously, you could put it in what are Tuscaloosa. You could put them in what are considered college football towns. That's all they have. And you play during the summer, so you're not interfering with any kind of college stuff going on. And you could house the teams in either the dorms or they've got plenty of facilities there nowadays. And I feel like that if Athens, Georgia had a team, the Bulldog fans would pay attention and pull for them. I feel like the Tennessee Volunteer fans would get behind the Knoxville Choo-Choos or whatever you want to call them. South Bend, Tallahassee, Clemson.
We need to write a letter to the league.
We need to just start our own damn league.
Let's go.
Now, if I could run the 40 in under 6 minutes, I'd say let's just start our own league and I'll play in it.
Hey, we could sign Shannon Sharp now that he's on the free agent list.
Yeah. He's leaving Skip, huh? He's going to go do his podcast. Now that's good for me because I can't ever understand a thing coming out of his mouth anyways.
It's like peanut butter at the roof of his mouth.
Yeah, it's like, dude, spit out the Jell-O before you get on there. Who do you think they put Skip with? Because Skip's not going away.
Oh, man. I hope they don't put that Nick Wright guy. He is one of my most hated people.
Yeah, he's
but I can see it.
I kind of wish they would because then you just put them all on one channel and I don't have to watch them.
You could avoid the damn knuckleheads, as Charles Barkley would say, by that channel.
I don't know who they can afford that could bring the kind of. I feel like they're going to bring a retread from ESPN. I don't have anyone in mind, but it's going to be a retread.
The perfect person, but they would never do it, is the guy I just mentioned to me, Charles Barkley, because he has such great opinions.
Oh, he would afford him.
No, I'm saying he would never do it in a million years, but that would be the perfect person.
Yeah, he's not getting up that early and debating every single day, all sports. He's just not going to do it.
No, because he has a TV show, actually, a new day show on CNN or something that's coming out too.
Well, the charm of Barkley is he's not going to come at you vigorously and pound the table like Skip Bayless wants to do. Skip Bayless is a dinosaur. That whole thing is dying out, but I think they're going to try to nab someone that ESPN casts aside because ESPN is going through all their cuts. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, there's some stuff going on in the Southeastern Conference we got to talk about. Moving and a shaking, and will it happen? We'll be back in a flash here on Braves Country. Braves Country today. We're talking Southern sports. We go live 3 to 5 weekdays right here on WQEE. Braves Country today. Southern sports talk with the voice of Braves Country baseball, Mac Magee. Joined every day from sports analysts from all over Braves Country, talking college football, the NFL, Major League Baseball, and what's trending in the world of sports. Braves Country today. We go live 3 to 5 weekdays right here on WQEE.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rod Peterson here, host of The Rod Peterson Show, inviting you to join us daily for 2 hours of Atlanta's funnest sports talk right here on WQEE. I say fun because it is. You've never heard a show like it because we make the listeners a part of the show every day between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern. You'll hear plenty of the best sports talk, including the latest on the Falcons, the Braves, and more. And who knows, you might even hear you. That's The Rod Peterson Show, daily at noon, right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
Kick off fall and kick off happiness with Schafferhofer grapefruit and pomegranate beer. Log on to kickoffhappiness.com for your chance to win a cool custom cooler with Schafferhofer swag, including your favorite team's jersey. Look for the Schafferhofer displays at your local retailers for great savings on Schafferhofer grapefruit and pomegranate. And learn more about the sweepstakes at kickoffhappiness.com. See site for official rules. Must be 21 or older. Brewed and bottled in Germany. Imported by Radeberger Group USA, Norwalk, Connecticut. Always enjoy responsibly.
Amazon Prime members now get free grocery delivery with a minimum order. You'll get your groceries with 2-hour delivery. So in that time, you can finally figure out where the biblioteca is, learn how to play the acoustic guitar, and I guess get a puka shell necklace. Do a makeup tutorial, but realize halfway contouring is hard, and you're beautiful just as you are. Whatever it is you're doing with your time, your shopper will be carefully picking out your favorite organic meats, produce, dairy, and snacks while providing contactless delivery to your door. Free 2-hour grocery delivery, now with Prime.
You get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. So much, I'm going to have to speed things up. You can get the Farmers Signal app, and that could get you up to 15% off your auto policy. That's just for using the app and driving like the normal speed limit, adhering, full stop, making lane change, signaling human being you are. Get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. Start with a quote by calling 1-800-FARMERS.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Welcome back to Braves Country today. Braves have the day off, so we're taking this giant chance to talk a little football and other things. So Ryan's on board for the Braves Country Football League. My question to you, Joey, is during these Braves Country Football League games, would it be when are we doing the cigarette breaks? Is that during the in between quarters?
In between quarters,
in between,
and then at halftime you get two. And if you're a backup or a coach, you can smoke one whenever you need.
I think we got a better chance of pulling off a Braves Country softball league.
I'll bring the beer.
Yeah, I was about to say we're gonna have kegs at each base. Get a dipper full.
Who's got the long cut? I only brought pouches.
So we're going to continue the fantasy football all-time draft here in a second, but I wanted to hit you up on this.
Do it.
So they're doing the SEC meetings are going on right now in Destin, Florida. And there's a bunch of things that they're talking about, but the number one thing that everybody wants to know about is there's a proposal, and the proposal is they go from 8 to 9 Southeastern Conference games. And it's getting a lot of momentum. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen as early as 2024. That's when Texas and Oklahoma are going to come into the Southeastern Conference. There's some pushback by guys like Kirby Smart and whatnot. And they're saying, oh, you're playing enough as it is, da-da-da-da-da. But I don't think they're thinking the big picture. And the big picture that I'm sure the SEC is looking at is this. They're going to be able to get more money out of ESPN. If you get an extra SEC game, that means more money going on to the Plus and all, SEC Network, all that kind of stuff, right? So that's going to equate into more money into their television contract. That's a given. It's not going to be an enormous amount more, but it's going to be more money.
Right.
Always follow the money when it comes to any of this stuff. But the other thing is, if you are a major contributor, you're a season ticket holder, and you're asking me to put out a couple $100 a week a game to go watch the Georgia Bulldogs, go watch the Florida Gators, the Tennessee Volunteers, whoever your favorite team is. I don't want to see 4 games against Appalachian, Missouri, directional U.
Well, and that was going to be my question to you. Now, if we're going to take away a crap game like that, I'm cool with it, but not if we're going to be taking away like Alabama versus Ohio State or something, one of their good non-conference games. If they're taking away one of those teams where you just pay them off just to get some money and it's like Division II, Division I, like, you know what I mean? The Appalachians, like you said, I like that. I just hope it doesn't take away a good non-conference game.
Well, it's going to narrow it down regardless to where you're only going to have 3 non-conference games.
True.
And the biggest thing that I would be in favor for, and I'm just using the SEC as an example, but I would want this for all. You should not be able to schedule more than 1 non-Power 5. That's it. That's it. You get the one Patsy, you get the homecoming game, or if you want it to be your first game of the season. I don't get bent out of shape when a team let me see what's going on in the SEC in week 1. Who does Georgia play? They usually play a soft schedule at the beginning. We'll see who they're playing. UT Martin. Woo-hoo-hoo. I don't have first of all, poor UT Martin. But second of all, I don't have a problem with Georgia playing UT Martin to start their season. Wet their whistle, right? But that's it. The week after that, they're playing Ball State. 2 weeks after that, they're playing UAB.
Yeah, like Alabama gets to play Middle Tennessee right off the bat.
And then at the very bottom of the schedule, and I know it's an in-state rival, they play Georgia Tech, and we know that has not been competitive in quite some time. So what I'm saying is off the jump, UT Martin would be your only Bobo game. And then you got to go out and play the Ball State and the UAB. I get it that they're both Division I teams. At least one more of those need to be a Power 5. I want to say 2, but at least one more.
I totally agree. As you were doing that, I was just looking at Alabama. They got Chattanooga and Middle Tennessee. You could play one of those 2. I'll let you play one, but not both.
Well, you can ask Miami Hurricane fans. You may not want to play Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
Got him.
Brian Cook, zinger.
Got him.
Yes, sir. Because I'm tired of hearing about the.
Anytime I can remind Brian and company that the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders whipped Miami's butt last year in Miami. I want to get a game T-shirt of that sometime, man. They've got to be selling them out there somewhere, right?
All he keeps tagging me in is Florida Panther stuff. I'm like, nobody cares, so good for you.
Florida Panthers. Let's talk about Middle Tennessee State football. Let's go. Let's talk about where the Kings lay. Murfreesboro, Tennessee, by God.
By God.
But yeah, so I'm not going to kill Georgia for playing UT Martin to start the season off. I get it. You want a cupcake. You want to, no matter how many practices you have, it's not the same as turning the lights on, playing against another team, even though you're much faster, much stronger than UT Martin, whatever. It's going to be a 80-point blowout, right? But after that, can we get to playing some football? Can we take Ball State off the schedule and replace that with anybody else in the Southeastern Conference? And then that UAB game, can we make that another Power 5 team? And I really don't care who it is. Just give me something.
Yeah, we don't need to be watching the 70-3 games. I get it. It helps the school out financially in some ways, but nothing worse than seeing Alabama up 70-3. Who cares? Throw that game out the window.
Yeah, why is that? What was funny is I heard an Atlanta show this morning complaining about the fact that the first game of the season, the Georgia game, is not going to be on television, which isn't necessarily correct. It is going to be on television. It's going to be on, well, it's going to be on a streaming device. It's going to be on ESPN Plus. And I'm sorry, but nowadays, if you don't have the Plus, you're not really trying to watch college sports. The Plus is where you get all of your college football, college baseball, college softball, etc.
Yeah, I was going to say baseball and softball. I mean, that's the cream of the crop for ESPN Plus right there.
So it is going to be on TV. I think they were complaining that it wasn't going to be on a major network. But if you look at what's going to be on the SEC network that same day, Middle Tennessee State and Alabama, that's a much better matchup than UT Martin and Georgia. Let me see what else have they put on there. Southeast Louisiana, Mississippi State. Not a great matchup, but you got to figure a better chance of any kind of competitive football. And is there any other SEC network games? I don't see any other SEC network games. Oh, the Ball State Kentucky game at noon. And I know what they're going to say. It's two-time defending national champion, blah, blah, blah. But you're playing Mickey Rooner's Bloomer Girls. I mean, come on. UT Martin versus Georgia.
Yeah, it's like like for Florida's schedule, they got Charlotte and they got McNeese State. Come, take one of those off.
Yeah, Florida doesn't play anyone out of conference typically. They're forced to by state law to play Florida State, but that's it.
Sheesh.
They are starting at Utah though, so that's an interesting one.
Yeah, and they got Tennessee week 4, so they're actually 2-2 regardless.
But yeah, McNeese and Charlotte.
Whew.
What is their other out in Florida State? McNeese, Charlotte, Florida State, and Utah. I mean, you got to give them a little credit. They are playing Utah and Florida State, even though one is forced upon them. Not a lot of teams play three tough out of conference games.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. Not just the SEC. I'd like to see all of them go to 9-game.
Oh, there's nothing worse when the Big Ten. I love Big Ten football, but it can get a little dry sometime when you get all these teams playing, Idaho or somebody little sister over there across the sea. It's like the Big Ten teams don't even put up a ton of points like the SEC, so that makes it even worse.
Florida State's got to go out there and pick a drunken bar fight the first weekend of the season. Let's play LSU again. See what they got. It's like, can we get some of that McNeese State action over here?
Yeah, for real. I mean,
I'm not looking forward to that one. I mean, I am as a fan, but if you lose it, it's just it's kind of a.
Was that last year's week 1?
Yeah, it's kicking the grapes.
Okay.
It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be Sunday night ABC, leading into Labor Day weekend.
Man, that's going to be a really fun one. Oh man. If you're not a fan, because you're going to be biting on your fingernails.
Well, and the other thing is that I don't know why they never learned their lesson from this. Whatever the point spread is, take Southern Miss in the points the following week, because they're only going to get a 6-day rest. They're playing Sunday and then they're going to play Saturday, and that usually has a huge effect on college football players. So if FSU goes out and actually beats LSU, that's good. Southern Miss will probably be like a 35-point underdog. Dude, I'm taking Southern Miss all day long. No way Florida State's going to cover the spread against Southern Miss.
You'll be a little tired.
They've got, as far as they're out of conference, they've got LSU and Florida. So, I mean, I can't see anyone clapping back on me about, well, why don't y'all play so much?
Well, they need to do it for everybody, because even my Notre Dame.
But I will say this. Southern Miss, what are they? Conference USA? Where are they at nowadays? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Sun Belt. I would be willing to concede that you don't necessarily have to be Power 5. Sun Belt's about as low as I'll take, though. Right? So, in other words, like the MTSU matchup for Alabama, I accept that. But even then, I don't want Georgia to play more than one of those. I'd like 2 of your out-of-conference games. Well, I guess if you went to 9, then if you went to 9, then you only have 3 out-of-conference games. At least one of them's got to be Power 5. But I want to make it really 2, because Georgia always plays Georgia Tech. So is that really until
What I will
Georgia
say,
Tech builds themselves back up? Does that really count?
What I will say I love doing is like sometimes I'll pick a game. For example, this year I'm going to Central Michigan at Notre Dame. The only reason we picked that one is like we don't want to drive 4 hours and see our butts get kicked in. If we go 4 hours, we'll get to at least see Notre Dame whoop up on Central Michigan, because a week later, Notre Dame plays Ohio State. We'll probably lose by 30 points.
Oh, Notre Dame and Ohio State are back at it again?
Yeah, week 5. It's in Notre Dame this time, September 23rd.
Well,
we got Ohio State, USC at Clemson. I mean, some tough ones.
Oh, you're at Clemson too?
Yeah. We're not making the playoff.
Well, I'm not expecting. With only 4 teams getting in this year, for me as a fan, I'm pointing towards 2024 as far as playoffs.
Yes,
I just want to see them be a good team, be a competitive team, and do a lot like they did last year, and I'll be more than happy. But with only 4 teams getting in the playoffs, I mean, you can almost already name it. Georgia and Alabama, Ohio State, and then a third rando.
Yeah, they'll give us one team we like to root for, and that's about it.
Notre Dame's got a fairly manageable schedule, but I don't think they're expected to be very good this year, are they?
I mean, I like Sam Hartman that we got from Wake Forest, so I'm hoping that jolts the offense that struggled last year, but I don't see nothing better than like a 9-3.
At NC State, Ohio State, at Duke, at Louisville, at home against Southern Cal, Pittsburgh, Clemson, Wake Forest, which is kind of ironic, and at Stanford.
Yeah, I wonder how that got set up. We play Wake Forest, you don't say.
I mean, it's kind of outside of a couple of games, it's kind of a cupcake schedule.
Yeah, but Notre Dame's the exact team where they play good against the good teams, and then they'll fumble the ball up against like I don't know, probably a NC State or a Navy. They'll screw up one of those, I'm sure.
Right, but as far as your opponents go, I mean, there's really no excuses. The Ohio State game, the Clemson game, the rest, maybe Southern Cal, but the others, you're probably going to be favored.
What I like most is not
sure about NC State, but you'll be favored in at least 8 of them.
Yep, and I hate when you start with a hard game like Florida State starts LSU. I like starting with a decent game because you get your feet wet a little bit. It's very hard, like Notre Dame did it last year. They played at Ohio State. Even though it was a good game, they lost. Then you're 0-1 right out of the bat, and you're already chasing the 8 ball all season.
The good news is, though, you're starting off with Navy.
Ooh.
And Navy's bad. Now, Navy's been dangerous in certain years, but they've been bad the last couple of years. They've already got a line out for that game. Notre Dame's a 20-point favorite. No one's even tied up a shoe or anything. I would probably take Notre Dame right now. If I was at the window in Vegas, give me Notre Dame -20, home against Navy to kick it off. That's August 26th, too. Week 0, as they call it.
Nice little afternoon action at about 2:30.
Little afternoon delight.
Afternoon delight.
Whoop!
Whoop!
Woo! There's 1, 2, 3. There's 7 games on that first Saturday. Week 0, as they call it, August 26th.
I love it. I love that.
Now, I can't say any of them. Southern Cal is a 30-point favorite over San Jose State. Notre Dame's a 20-point favorite over Navy. New Mexico State and UMass -9.5 with the Lobos. San Diego State and Ohio, Hawaii and Vanderbilt. And
I just love that it's real games. I'll watch it all because when you get the start of, especially there's no NFL, I'll watch.
Do you remember about 4 or 5 years ago when Miami and the Florida Gators played the first week of the season?
Yes, I do.
That was fun. That was exciting. A real game to get excited for. I would like to have seen them put the Florida-Utah game, which is being played that next Thursday night, that would be great to see. On that first, give me one game with some meat on the bone. There are a lot of games on that Thursday, by the way. There's like a dozen games. We couldn't have picked one of the Nebraska, Minnesota. Could we have put that on the previous?
For real.
I mean, come on. There's got to be something that they can do. If you're going to play games that first week, you got to give us something better. What is the marquee matchup Navy Notre Dame?
It could very well be. I mean, after the schedule you named, oh my goodness.
The closest line is Jacksonville State and UTEP. Oh yeah, let's fire up the grill.
Oh my, that made me a little bit sick.
Come on, let's get it. Get it. Get your game face on. We'll start the Armchair Quarterback show early that day. We'll get up at 7 a.m. and really get everyone rocking and rolling.
Oh, you know what is cool about that Notre Dame game really quick? I forgot about this. It's in Dublin.
Is that the one that didn't get played, right?
Yeah, it's in Dublin on Peacock.
COVID?
Yep.
Are we going to be able to tell? I mean, Notre Dame Stadium already looks like it's in a third world country, so I mean, I don't know if we're going to be able to tell the difference.
Hey man, that's a beautiful piece of art.
It doesn't take long to do your your end zones. That's all I know, man. Just dropping white paint lines, just lines, white lines.
They choose the most blind person they can find.
Good Lord. That's the worst end zone in college football.
You did the lines the wrong way. Who cares?
What's the best end zone to you in college football?
Oh man, I mean that's
because Navy has to have the worst. I mean Notre Dame has to have the worst. Just the lines.
You know what? Just in general, I was always spooked out by LSU doing their yard markers every 5 yards. That always spooked me out. I know we're not taught that's not the end zone, but that always spooked me out. Like, how the heck?
I gotta go with the Tennessee Volunteers, man. With the orange checkerboard.
That is a great one. That's
iconic. The FSU ones used to be really good, but they haven't been good, man. They changed the whole paint scheme around 10, 15 years ago, and now it just looks like everybody else's. They keep showing this replay, Arizona, Colorado. And they're getting really close on the picture on whether or not the tag, because it's being reviewed, the tag at second, whether the guy actually tagged him or not. And he's tagging him in the mid-range. And it's so close, it's like, if that guy got an erection, he's out. But if he didn't, he's safe.
Some people, it might not matter.
Possibly.
Safe.
If he's a tucker, it won't matter, right? If you bought the Target bathing suits where you can tuck everything away, it won't matter.
He's out of there.
Have you gone out and got yourself a Target bathing suit yet? Do you know?
I'm waiting for it to go on sale. Oh, yes, I do. I saw it on the news the other day. I'm just waiting for it to go on sale.
How do you ask for that if you're in the store and you don't see the one you want? Do you go up to, hey, I heard you got the tuckers. Can I get a tucker?
I'm trying to find a utility hitting bathing suit. You got a lefty and a righty. I don't know what you say. Can I get a Bud Light?
Yeah. I'm going to tuck my Bud Light in there.
If you buy one, you also get a nice cold Bud Light.
And a Middle Tennessee State versus Miami t-shirt. All in a bundle. All right. Before we run out of time, we went down this dark and dangerous road. Let's get back into the all-time fantasy draft. And after that, I'm going to want your game ball, so don't forget about that.
Oh, I got it.
Already off the board was Priest Holmes, Steven took Priest Holmes, and Doug went with your boy, Peyton Manning. So where are you going, Mr. Joey, on the first pick, your first pick, but the number 3 pick overall in the all-time fantasy football draft?
Well, I can do this because his stats are still great. So, Doug, just because you took my first option, I'm taking away your main threat, and that would be Mr. Marvin Harrison. I compared him to Jerry Rice. I compared him to Randy Moss. But in the years 2002 and 2001, the man put up 252 total catches and 41 touchdowns. So I'm going Marvin Harrison for 2002 and 2001 as the first receiver off the board in the all-time fantasy draft.
All right, Marvin Harrison. Senior at this point.
Yeah. My Colts want junior in real life, but I want senior for the draft.
You know, I thought Harrison was actually heading to the damn to the draft this year. Like I had that
I think everybody did. But you're not the only one.
He was eligible, wasn't he?
No, because I don't think so. I do not think he was eligible. That was the only thing. Wouldn't that be the only thing that would have stopped him? I mean, what else would he have had to prove?
Well, he was going to be coming off that injury, and I thought he came back because of that. Well, no, he is only 20 years old, so maybe he wouldn't have been eligible. It gets confusing when you look it up and you see what is he looked upon at right now. Is he, all right, he's a junior, but is that a junior or is that a COVID junior? That's what throws me off.
Exactly.
I'll be so glad when we get past the whole COVID nonsense, because I mean, some of these guys and gals, I mean, they're making a career out of this.
Should I hit you with my game ball?
Yeah.
I love this idea. This is my first game ball.
By the way, my game ball is going to Doug.
I'm taking your ball away with my game ball. Little rascal. After Doug ruined my day, my first game ball ever is going to Mr. Shohei Ohtani. He hit 2 home runs yesterday against my hated White Sox on the south side of town. So take that, White Sox. Ohtani with 2 homers, and they handed you the loss. I'm giving my game ball to Mr. Ohtani.
Man, this is the 11-year anniversary of Johan Santana's no-hitter. He was never the same after that.
Nope, not at all.
Remember he threw like 140 pitches that day? He was never he was so dominant before that outing. It was never worth a poop after that.
The Mets didn't get the good part of him, that's for sure.
No, I mean, he was really good until that moment. And then the next time that he came out, and for the rest of his career. And what was funny is everyone defended the move until his career went in the crapper, and then they said, "Oh, they never should have left him out there." I'm like, that's not what you were saying last week. Last week you said you got to go for the no hitter. It's got to happen. Be a man. Go for it. 2 weeks later, then you got to think of his future. He's made of glass and sugar. What is your lock of the day, sir?
My lock of the day is going to go to the NBA Finals and Mr. Jokic. The over-under on points, assists, and rebounds is 50.5. I'm going to take the over 50.5 for Mr. Jokic tonight, and the Nuggets win.
All right. I am going to go tonight. Let me see. What did the over-under end up sitting at? Yeah, by the way, we were talking about this earlier. Framber Valdez has been taken off. So that is a... You know what? All right, never mind. Just past that minus 150. I can't take it. All right, let's do this instead. Tonight, there's only a few games in Major League Baseball. You got the NBA Finals, which you haven't really talked about. I'm going to go with Denver minus the 8 points tonight. I think they're going to blow them out.
I like it because I feel like everyone's going to jump on Miami now.
I think Miami's still going to be exhausted. And yeah, I like it. If I was going to go with a baseball pick, I know folks usually expect me to do that, I would probably go with I guess I'd go the Angels on the money line plus 122. I don't love that one. I personally would probably take the run line, but we never take something that's over minus 150.
Correct.
What is your walk-off, sir?
My walk-off is June 1st, baseball fans. This is the month where you get your separation from the good teams to the bad teams. Everyone's kind of mucked up. The weather's not that good, especially in the Midwest and a couple other areas. June is a huge month for your baseball team. Get ready to have a good one, because if not, you'll probably be selling at the deadline in July.
My walk-off is Braves are off tonight, so enjoy it. We got a rough weekend going into Arizona. Very good baseball team and 3 really good pitchers that we're going to face, but we'll break down all of that tomorrow. First things first, we'll hit that up on the leadoff spot here on Braves Country. Keep it locked in here on WQEE. The Brian Snow Show is next, and get your morning started right here on 99.1 FM, Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., and we'll be back tomorrow live, 3 to 5. Have a great Thursday night, y'all, and enjoy the finals if you're going to stay up that late.
Goodbye, sweetheart, well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart, goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to Braves Country with Mac Magee and the Armchair Quarterbacks on 99.1 FM WQEE, The Key in Noonan, Georgia, and simulcasting on youtube.com/@Braves Country. Braves Country comes your way weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. Please follow, like, and subscribe today. Armchair Quarterback Radio, your first choice for Southern sports.
Something of the 5th of September. Something of the 5th of September. She said a lot that I can't remember. Something of the 5th. Can I get another cigarette, please? Can I get another cigarette, please? Yeah, I know I live to regret it. Just give me another cigarette, please.
You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key in Noonan, Georgia.
Are you looking for a reliable dental practice that not only cares about your teeth, but is friendly to work with? How about one that offers great deals and new patient promotions? Well, your search is over. Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton, Georgia is committed to giving you the biggest and brightest smile. Right now, get a $99 new patient special, including x-rays and exam. Maybe you're looking for veneers. Most Valuable Smiles veneer special includes 1 free veneer with every 5 purchased. Or get that bright white smile you've always wanted by taking advantage of an exclusive $100 off Zoom whitening treatment when you book today. And don't forget that 2022 is almost over. That means most insurance policies will reset by the new year, and to avoid losing that extra money, you need to use it or lose it. Book an appointment today with Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton to lock in these exclusive deals. Call 706-623-0318 or visit mostvaluablesmiles.com.